Welcome into the latest edition of our Cubs REKAP Podcast, a presentation of our REKAP YouTube channel and available audio only everywhere you get your favorite podcast. With my longtime partner, Gordon Wittenmeyer, I'm David Kaplan. It's all brought to you by the Illinois Tollway and their If Only campaign. Folks, we've all said it before, if only I had slowed down. The Illinois Tollway's new campaign is called If Only, and it's a powerful reminder that speeding doesn't just put you at risk, it affects everyone on the road. Every crash leaves someone wishing they'd done things differently. So take the extra time, slow down, save lives. Lives, including yours, depend on it. The Illinois Tollway and their If Only campaign. All right, G-Dub. Let's get into this. Yes. The Chicago National League Ball Club is probably not going to win the division. They are 7.5 games back of the hottest team I've ever seen. Since the 69 Mets.
That's the hottest team Milwaukee's ever seen.
Well, it's the hottest team most in baseball have seen. The last time I remember a team at this level playing like this, the 69 Mets when I was a little kid, and they went 38-9 to catch the Cubs and win the division, right. And there was no wild cards back then. So
what did I say last week? What did I say? I said this feels a lot like the 69 season.
Yeah. So let's assume Milwaukee wins the division. The Chicago Cubs have been an up and down team, yet they have, I believe, the second best record in the National League since May 25th. Crazy as that sounds, because Milwaukee is like 49-16 or something, some insane number that they're on. So let's talk about. Yeah, it's unbelievable what they're able to do. It's literally unbelievable. So Guff is texting us. He just said, listen to this text we just got from Ryan. The Brewers are 38-9 their last 47.
That's crazy. You ain't catching that.
It's literally unbelievable. So let me ask you a question. They play the Brewers next week for 5. I'm not under any delusions that they're going to sweep 5 and then go, oh, we're back in it. Your opinion, is the Reds team that's chasing them, it's the only one that can really dispatch one of the 3 that are in the wild card right now. Is the Reds team chasing the Cubs good enough if the Cubs stumble at all?
Yeah, and they got better Wednesday night when Hunter Green returned to the rotation. Their best pitcher has been out for better part of 3 months with a groin injury. He came in through 6 shutout innings against the Phillies on Wednesday night, and they beat the Phillies to win that series. If you put him at the front of the rotation, it almost doesn't matter who you drop off at the back of the rotation. Their really good starting pitching just got a lot better. Let me tell you something. I was just looking this up. You know who the top 4 starting rotations in August are? Number 1, the Cubs, 2.48 ERA. Number 2, the Reds, 2.56. Number 3, the Mariners, who are red hot. And number 4, the Brewers at 3.09. 3 of the top 4 rotations in baseball are in this division. And the Reds just got better Wednesday night in that regard. So they've got the pitching to do it for sure. And I don't know what the Cubs are going to look like a few weeks from now if Tucker and PCA don't start hitting. I mean, their combined numbers in August, their combined numbers since the All-Star break is 203 with a 637 OPS and a shit ton of strikeouts. Their August numbers are even worse. PCA's 073. Tucker's hitting $167, hardly any extra base hits. Those are the 2 big lefty sluggers in the lineup that carried them for most of the season, and probably a big reason why we're seeing Owen Caissie come up.
So Owen Caissie comes up. Yesterday, I was furious after the 5-1 loss. And I said, hold on a minute. You're telling me at the trade deadline that you can't trade Owen Caissie, you can't trade Ballesteros, you can't trade Jackson Wiggins, you can't trade Jefferson Rojas, you can't trade James Triantos, and I can keep going on and on and on and on. Okay, then why are they not here, at least one of them? Do I have to keep watching Ian Happ look awful at the plate? Kyle Tucker does not look healthy to me. He's got 2,800 major league at-bats that tell me he's a superstar. And all of a sudden you're telling me he fouls a ball off his leg, and from that point on, he can't turn on a ball and no one thinks they're connected? Or he jams a finger? There's no doubt he's not healthy. PCA's 23. He's had his ups, he's had his downs. Still had a hell of a year. Michael Busch has been struggling, hit a home run last night. Seiya Suzuki's got 5 home runs since June. He's been struggling. So you're telling me I can't trade that dude. He's tearing up AAA, but I can't get him here. And finally, he's here. How much would you play him, and where would you play him?
I'd start him immediately. The problem with right field, of course, that's Tucker's spot. Maybe I'd put him in Happ's spot. Maybe I'd DH him. Seiya's going okay, right? So
yep.
I'd play him. I'd find a spot for him. Maybe I'd rotate him and rest a couple guys that are struggling, but I'd see what he's got right away. And if he performs at any level, if he doesn't look overmatched, I leave him in there, because right now you need what you can get. Maybe you get one of these guys that, whether he's going to stick right now or whether he's going to, establish himself. Maybe he jumps the league for a week or two. That's kind of that. You hope for at least that much as he comes up before guys get a real good book on him. If he can do that, maybe you right the ship a little bit, because they do have an easier schedule than most teams the rest of the way. Look, man, once they're clear of the Brewers next week, they've got 24 straight games against losers, teams with losing records. And there's your chance to sort of right the ship. And if you can figure out a couple things with the lineup between now and then, you got a chance to go on some kind of a run. You're getting enough pitching. You still got to be crossing your fingers on the depth there, but you're getting enough of it that you can compete. You got to get some more of that hitting back that you had early in the season.
So I just looked at a tweet from Zach Zaidman, one of the Cubs broadcasters, and he just posted a few minutes ago that Owen Caissie, they're hoping he makes it to the stadium in time. He's trying to get from wherever the Iowa Cubs were yesterday, and he was not told yesterday you're coming up till Miguel Amaya got injured last night. And so he has to get from wherever Iowa was to Toronto, Canada. If he gets there, the game's at 2:07 Central, 3:07 Eastern. If he gets there, he's in the lineup. And Jesse's telling me he believes he'll be the DH.
That makes sense. That makes all the sense in the world. Take the pressure off him in the field. It's a different turf up there than he's used to playing on. It is home, but take as much off his plate as you can and see what you can get out of him. That makes all the sense in the world. And plus, if he gets there, let's say he gets there an hour before the game, stick him in that lineup. It's a lot less to think about. Just go out and play. I like that. That's how they're going to do this. I still think they whiffed at the deadline, but that's a different conversation, I guess.
So they were at home last night against Worcester. So they were in Des Moines. So Des Moines to Toronto, I guess, isn't the easiest.
Well, yeah, I mean, you should be able to get to Chicago, and then there should be a bunch of flights, right?
You would think. So the Cubs lineup, I just went to MLB.com right now while I'm talking to you, and the Toronto lineup is already up. The Cubs lineup says, please check back later for lineup, which means he's not there yet at the ballpark and that they're awaiting his arrival. So I think it's pretty cool. If it was now, I want to get to something else. Last night, Cade Horton had a no-hitter in the 6th. He was on a 29-plus inning shutout streak, one of the longest in the history of the franchise. I was told by someone who would know that when they called on Joe Ryan with the Twins, when they called on Mackenzie Gore from Washington, that the ask from both teams was, okay, you want this guy? You can have him. We want Cade Horton, Jackson Wiggins, their number one pitching prospect, or Owen Caissie, and we want Matt Shaw. And Jed went, yeah, good luck. That's not going to happen. I wouldn't have done those deals either.
You can't do those deals because you can't gut your big league roster when you're trying to upgrade your big league roster.
Exactly. So last night he takes a no-hitter into the sixth. His pitch counts in the low 70s. He gets the first out. He gets the second out. He's still in like 70. I think 70. He was at 72 pitches. He's going to face Bo Bichette after he gives up a base hit.
72 with 2 outs.
72 with 2 outs and a man at first. He just gave up his first hit of the game, a base hit, single to Andres Jimenez. So he's got a man at first. He's at 72 pitches, 2 outs in the sixth. And I know they're trying to manage him. I get it. I understand it. Bo Bichette's 1-2, throws him a beautiful pitch, and Bo Bichette spoils it, fouls it away. It ends up in a 10-pitch at bat, and on 3-2, he walks him. He's at 82 pitches. So you've got 2 men on, up 2-0, and 2 outs at 82 pitches. I would have left him in. If you told me, wow, it's September 28th, and I have to win today, and I've got a Aroldis Chapman down there in his prime, okay, I get it. You're going to Andrew effing Kittredge. He goes and takes Cade Horton out, brings it to the trade, and you've got Vladimir Guerrero coming up. So he takes him out, he brings in Kittredge, and bang, there's a double down inside the bag, down the line, a run scores, and now you got 2 men on, and Kittredge gets out of it with a deep fly ball that I thought was gone from, I think, Addison Barger, and inning over. And I was disappointed because I thought it was a teaching moment. And then I just listened to Mark DeRosa a few minutes ago on MLB Network, and he said, I'm sitting on the couch, and I know it's easy to manage from my couch, but I texted my producers because I was unhappy with what Craig Counsell did. He said, one of 2 things is going to happen. He's either going to get the Guerrero out, and you're going to come to the dugout and go, that was a hell of an outing, man. Great job. 6 shutout innings, 1 hit. Fabulous. He said, or let's take the worst case scenario and Vladimir Guerrero hits one 10 miles. Bam, home run, you're losing. He said, you know what you do then? You go to the hotel bar, you 2 sit there, you and the manager, you grab a beer and you go, this is DeRosa, when we're hoisting your jersey up on the flagpole at Wrigley in 15 years, you learn from this very moment what you can get away with and what you can't. Instead, they took the chicken shit way out and they gave the ball to Andrew Kittredge. They ended up winning. They added on, no harm, no foul. I just thought it was a teaching moment that they screwed up. You?
Yeah, you know, what's funny is you said you were disappointed. When you said you were disappointed, I laughed because disappointed only begins to tell the story of your emotions on that. You know, I see the very simplistic rationale of this is a young guy that was a very tough, long, draining at bat, and here's the best hitter on the other team that we've already been in meetings on saying can't beat us. So I'm going to go to a fresh arm right now, get the kid out of this. When we get out of it, he's going to feel good about his outing. I get that very simplistic viewpoint of managing a young kid. That said, in this case, I am in the camp of your guy, D-Row. I think as you know, especially like what's going on with this team. The pitching's getting it done. Cade Horton's been a big part of that. I told you what the August numbers were. He's been a big part of that. Yeah. You need him to grow. He has to grow if you're going to do something. Maybe if you're going to do something this year. And so maybe a little bit of more old school thinking in that moment, like D-Rose talking about, like you're talking about, would have been worthwhile. Now, in retrospect, it's really easy to say that because we saw what the result was. But to your point, even if Vladdy comes up and gets an even bigger hit, you could still get long-term benefits out of that, especially when you consider this part of the equation. Like I said, when they clear the Brewers series, it's 24 straight games of soft. So, these Toronto might be in the World Series next time we're talking about them.
Yeah.
Milwaukee's playing as well as anybody in baseball right now. This week, you just need to sort of tread water and get through this. And if you can figure out a few things along the way, if you can grow a little bit with some of your young guys along the way, Owen Caissie included as he comes up, now you've got maybe a little more forgiving schedule where you can do some damage, make sure you're in the race, make sure you're in the playoffs, and then you've done some things. You have some things to recall when you get to some of these games that are truly high stakes. So when you put all that together, I agree with you. And by the way, let me ask you this on that one. Just off the top of your head, if they'd have kept the old manager, what do you think he would have done in that situation?
Rossi?
Yeah.
Rossi would have probably gone to the pen.
He probably would have gone to the pen. Because that's what the organization philosophy tells him to do?
Yes. That's what I believe.
Yeah.
And
so
now
probably that's what his coach is telling him. So maybe this is a Hottovy call.
No way. No effing way is Tommy Hottovy.
You don't think Hottovy's got influence on that in the dugout in the moment because he's got just as much
influence. That's a Craig Jed call. No doubt.
Okay. Well, if it's a Craig Jed call, if you're including Jed, that's a triangle, man, because Hottovy's every bit involved in every pitcher on that staff when it comes to a Jed call.
But in the end, it was Craig's call. Opinion is the worst quote I've heard a Chicago sports executive say in my career. Worst.
Wow.
Okay.
And you've been around since P.K. Wrigley and those guys.
Yeah, pretty much. I grew up reading your stuff. So let me read you this quote, and then I want you to tell me what you think of it. This is Carter Hawkins, Cubs general manager, talking to our friend, the awesome Jesse Rogers. So they're asking him, Jesse's asking him about the trade deadline and how it unfolded. It's hard when, this is Carter, it's hard when you see other teams you're competing with get really good players, but those aren't decisions you're making in the moment, Hawkins said. They're decisions you're making over the course of the week and month. It takes some discipline, especially in a moment when you see things moving that way. But we were able to stick to our approach and felt really good about the ads we were able to make. Whatever. Then he says, teams are trying to find that guy that can lock down the 8th or 9th inning, but that also costs a lot. That costs a lot of future wins. We have a responsibility to the 2025 Cubs, but also the 2032 Cubs. That's not always popular in the moment, but it's decisions we have to make. That, in my opinion, is the single worst, dumbest, most out-of-touch quote I've heard a Chicago sports executive say. The last one I remember is Ed Lynch, happened to be the Cubs again. We want to just play big games in September. How about winning the freaking World Series, Ed? How about saying that? We want to be champions. But to hear Carter Hawkins talk about 2032?
You're right. And we're 10 games or whatever. And then, so that you can sustain. The idea is to win a couple more than you lose over time so that you can sustain and knock on that playoff door and knock on that World Series door, and eventually you got a chance to win it. That's just bullshit. That's not why we're here. That's not why people pay money for effing tickets and now pay money to watch them on effing TV. I mean, and they're going to pay more, actually, because then they're putting these on higher tiers on your cable and your streaming networks. I'm telling you, man, that kind of he needs to, whether they're thinking that way or not, he needs to shut his damn trap publicly on that. But they shouldn't be thinking that way, and they are. And this is going. It's because this is how they make money year over year. This is how they tantalize and sell their product year over year instead of trying to win every year. There's a few guys left in the game, and there aren't very many of them. I'm here in Cincinnati right now. Philadelphia was just in town. Dave Dombrowski, had a talk with him. Dave Dombrowski is one of the last guys that thinks like that. Mike Rizzo was a guy that thought like that. They ran him out. Gillick used to think like that. The guy before Theo and Jed came in used to think like that. Jim Hendry, those guys are out of the game now. Those types are out of the game because ownership is all multi-billionaires, They're instead of this being the thing that they go into to try to win and to participate like the players on the field in sport in trying to win, the billionaires are just treating it like it's whatever my other business was. This is just a spin-off of it, and I need to make money year over year. Now, you can do that if you want. You can do that. That's a private business. And it's always been about making money, but it's also always been about winning. And the fact that it's not now, year over year, the fact that this you can't go all in because you're thinking of 2032 is absolutely fucking ridiculous. You know what you need to do then? Between now and 2032, you ought to be giving away some free fucking tickets because that's ridiculous. If I'm paying money to go watch your damn team, you better effing be trying to win all the way up the goddamn ladder to the guy writing the paychecks.
Well said. Well said. I couldn't agree with you more wholeheartedly. When I hear that quote, and if I was Jed, and I haven't spoken to him. If I was Jed and I heard Carter say that, I would call him. Can you stop down to my office, please? Don't ever make that comment again. Whether we are conscious of 2032, I'm talking about them, not me. Them, right. You can never say that publicly. Like if he had said, look, we have to be as cognizant, or however he put it, of the 2025 Cubs as the 2026 Cubs. Okay.
Or just future. The way Jed says it.
Or we have to be as cognizant of the future. When you throw 7 freaking years down the road, you want me to worry about it? Absolutely a train wreck quote.
That's unbelievable. And it goes up there again. There's been a couple guys in recent years that have talked like that. DePoto stepped in it at least twice in recent years. He talked about more teams going for the number 1 pick than going for the World Series at one point a few years back. And when they say this shit out loud, it's galling as hell. Whether you're somebody, especially if you're somebody paying for those tickets, but even if you're somebody, connected to the game in the capacity that we are, because we only do this because we care about the game. We love the game. We didn't get into this for any other reasons. I mean, it's infuriating, and it should be.
It absolutely is infuriating. I can't begin to tell you how infuriating that is. All right, so we've got the Chicago National League Ball Club. And let me just check the lineup again and see if Owen Caissie or Craig Counsell. Guff just sent me a text. It's Craig Counsell saying to Marquis, I'd love to have him be in the lineup, but we're just going to wait and see what his scheduled arrival time is. Craig Counsell and Owen Caissie being in today's lineup. It is, let's see. Please tell me the lineup's been updated. No, the Cubs do not have a lineup out yet.
No, there's no. I mean, they can. The move is obvious, right? The move is Amaya, so it's not like you got to. It's not like the roster moves in play here.
It's not that. We want to know if he's going to play today, and he's from Ontario.
I understand that. I'm just saying they could put the lineup out if they want. It's not like they've got a backup plan for the roster spot.
Correct.
Because they can always change.
Right. It's him. So in terms of this race, let me just pull up the standings once again, and we can go through this.
Oh, I got him, man.
Milwaukee
They got the first wild card spot. The Dodgers are a game back. The Mets are 4.5. The Reds 5.5. And by the way, the Cardinals are 8.5 back.
Yeah, the Cardinals are done.
They're only 4 out of the last wild card.
Yeah,
the Mets are.
I was talking about catching the Cubs. I don't think the Cardinals are coming from 8.5 back. I don't. Could they catch the Mets? Yeah, the way the Mets have been playing, 2-8 their last 10. Absolutely. So you've got the Arizona Diamondbacks 5.5 out of the last wild card, but they've thrown in the towel. They traded their guys away. Cardinals 4, Reds 1. The Mets cling to that last wild card at 64 and 56. The Dodgers, who they just look terrible. They've lost 4 in a row. They lost again. They got swept by the Angels. They are 3.5 games up in the second wild card. The Cubs 4.5 up in the first wild card. So they've got a 5.5 game lead over the Reds. Look, the Cubs-Brewers series next week is going to be a massive one. But this weekend, the Reds and Brewers in the Queen City. That's an awesome one.
And by the way, there's also 4 more games the Cubs have against the Reds. So if it stays even roughly where it is right now, that could wind up being big. By the way, who knew that the NL Central was going to have this kind of an impact on the NL playoff picture?
Nobody thought that. Nobody
in the game thought that.
Everybody thought, you got no right.
Yeah. So I don't know. At this point, man, the right guy getting hot or the wrong guy getting injured could just ruin any given team's chances or vault them right into the playoff race.
So the Cubs have the Pirates at Wrigley for 3 starting tomorrow afternoon. Then they get a doubleheader Monday with the Brewers, day night, 1:20 and 7:05. Remember those, Gordon? They have a 7:05 on Tuesday. They have a 7:05 on Wednesday, and they have a 1:20 on Thursday. And then they get on the plane and fly to Angels Stadium and get the Angels for 3 their 2-night games and an afternoon game on the 24th. They are off on the 25th, and then they have at the Giants for 3, at the Rockies for 3. That's how they close out the month. So,
and that's part of that 24 straight. That's a pretty soft schedule.
Then they come home and they get the Braves, the Nationals at Wrigley. That's 6. Then they got the 3-3. Then they get 3 at the Braves. Then they have a day off. Then they come home and they play the Rays here, go to the Pirates, go to the Reds for 4, home with the Mets and Cardinals to end it.
Yeah, and that last sequence all of a sudden gets pretty dicey depending on who's in what position. But look at it from this standpoint too. Look at it from the Brewers standpoint, who have not lost in August. They're 12-0. And so they got the Reds. They got a day off today. They got the Reds for 3, followed immediately by the Cubs for 5, all on the road. They could either get cold all of a sudden. They could either get brought back to earth a little bit, or they could all but bury the division. Just bury it right there.
They could. Gordon, have a great rest of your day, man. It was fun chatting baseball with you. And congratulations to Carter Hawkins. Single worst quote I've heard.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. We agree on something. Take care, Cap.
We've been agreeing on more stuff. I'm starting to question my sanity.
I need some therapy.
Our podcast, as always, brought to you by the Illinois Tollways If Only campaign. We've all said it before. If only I had slowed down. The Illinois Tollways new campaign is called If Only. And it's a powerful reminder that speeding doesn't just put you at risk. It affects everyone on the road. Every crash leaves someone wishing they'd done things differently. So take the extra time, slow down, save lives, the Illinois Tollways If Only campaign. Gordon, have a great rest of your day. We'll talk next week during the Brewers series.
Oh, we'll have lots to talk about.
When are you back in Chicago?
I'm back for a day at the end of the week, and then I'm out to the West Coast for 3 cities.
All right. Have a great day, buddy.
You too, man.
There he is, the great Gordon Wittenmeyer. Take that.